Buongiorno, buonasera, benvenuti amici. Welcome, my friends. My name is Vincenzo, and welcome to my channel. And the channel is Fountain Pen Therapy. Indeed, indeed. Well, as some of you may know, I live in Montreal, and we have, in the past 4 days, received a lot of snow. Let me tell you, at 40 centimeters during a week, and now on the weekend another 40 centimeters, roughly, depending on the region. And you know what? It's a lot of snow. A lot of snow. I haven't seen that much snow here in Montreal for quite some time. So, for those of you who ski, well, you're in powder heaven right now. But for those of you who have to battle the traffic every morning, not ideal. Not ideal. So that's where fountain pen therapy comes in. And of course, I've got another beautiful Hongdian pen to review for you today. It's a pen that we have seen in different material before. It's the Hongdian M2, this beautiful pocket pen, but now they've come out with a brass version, and I understand it's a new and improved version. So you know what? Stay tuned. Here is the Hongdian M2 Brass. Okay, so we're back. Here's the packaging. I thought I'd show you. It comes in this, very discreet packaging, nothing fancy. On the description, it does say Hongdian M2 Black Forest. I noticed that Hongdian uses Black Forest description for quite a few pens. I'm not sure why this would be Black Forest. I know some of the slimmer regular shape pens are Black Forest versions of different colors and etc. But that's what it says. It also says glossy brass, made in China, new, and yes, it's the new version. So let's open it up. I'm going to end up breaking this. I know it. Hold on. Here we go. Okay. Yeah, it comes in this kind of a steel box in, a very simple plastic sleeve. So that's the box. We'll put that aside. And here's a beautiful pen. Let me tell you, nice little gem of a pen. For those of you who like pocket pens, I don't know how this is going to look in a few weeks, if it's going to maintain this color and this kind of shine, but let me tell you, very, very nice. So let's take a look at this. First of all, here you have it, Hongdian M2, written on the side. The clip, some people may not know this, but this is spring-loaded right here. It's a very, very functional clip. I like that clip. Beautiful finial, kind of a, I guess it's the Hongdian bird or something to that effect in any event. Very nice, the way they've done it. That's nice detail there. Take a look at that. And it gives you kind of that 3D-ish sensation. Very, very nice. This is also very nicely done. It's kind of all even. It doesn't protrude at all, so that's a nice touch. The other side, just a flat finial. Very, very nice. Let me see how many. Now, in terms of comparison, let's compare it to the other M2. I have the green. As you can see, the clip is pretty much a little more streamlined, I would say. A little roundish, a little more round than the original. The finials are pretty well the same thing, except of course this, they give you that contrast black, but it's the same idea, slightly shorter, as you can see, just a tad shorter. But the rest seems to be same thing. You've got the Hongdian M2 written on the side. From what I can tell, it's a similar clip, other than just a slight, a little more roundish, I would say, with the brass version. And this one's got a little bit more of a diamond point there. But having said that, there it is. And in terms of lengths, as you can see, the M2 is just a tad bigger. There you go. Let's put that aside for now. Let's see how many turns to open this thing up. That's one. So it's about less than maybe 1 1/4. Yeah, 1 1/4. It reveals this new nib. From what I understand, this is a nib that's supposed to be like, softer. So a little bit in the new tradition of Hongdian to give us some of those soft nibs. It is a medium, and it would appear that it has a new feed as well. Now, when I compare it to my other M2, unfortunately my other M2, but I've got an M1, I didn't choose it with the original Hongdian nib. I chose it with this lemon nib. So I can't compare the old and the new, but I do have the M1. I believe the M1 had the original. Yeah, this is the original Hongdian nib. Now let me just see if the camera can pick that up. There we go. So you can see a slight difference. I'm even wondering whether or not that nib is even bigger now, the new one anyway. But there you have it. And the feeds, are they changed? Yeah, they look different, but I'm wondering whether or not what difference it will make. But apparently it's a new and improved feed, so supposedly gives you better flow. And we'll take a closer look, obviously, when we do the writing sample. So there's, in terms of comparison, in terms of design, let me just put these back. Of course, it's a cartridge converter pen. Opens up, metal on metal. That's a nice touch. At least I don't have those very finicky converters that Kaweco has and others. And we'll do some comparisons in a second. It's got an O-ring there as well. Metal on metal. Really nice and smooth. Very, very nice construction, I got to tell you. I mean, it's doable. You can write. I have big hands. You can still write with it if you really have to. But of course, this pen is meant to be posted. And when it is posted, it is just an absolutely comfortable pen. And they are right. There appears to be something done to this section that doesn't make it slippery. And I got to tell you, compared to this one's much more slippery than the brass. And I believe the M1 is even worse. Yeah, well, similar to the old M2. So whatever they've done to this section, it works, folks. It sits there nicely in that joint of, in that a space in my hands, and I'm looking forward to giving this baby a go. So there you have it, the Hongdian Brass M2. I think we've covered its basic design and features. Screws in very, very nicely. Nice weight, not too heavy, not too light. Very nice, very nice. So why don't we come back with some additional comparisons? Okay, so we're back with some comparisons. Here's the subject pen right in the middle there. You've got the M1. You've got the old M2. This is a Ultem, they call it the EDC, EDC pen. You'll find it on AliExpress, if I'm not mistaken. This pen is a kind of an imitation of the Kaweco, and it comes under different names. I've seen it described as the Moon Man, all kinds of descriptions. I don't like this pen just because of its nib. This is the Gravitas Ultem, very nice pen. This is your Kaweco Brass Sport. That's, of course, probably inspired all of these pens. And this is a recently acquired Lotus, but it's made in copper. You can see the review. I've reviewed that not too long ago. So there you have a series of pocket pens. And I tried to pick some that kind of a similar design other than the Lotus. Picked the Lotus just because it's a heavy metal pen. But there you have it. Those are the pens capped. Here are the pens uncapped and unposted for what it's worth, because most of these pens, I think, work only really if you cap them. I'm missing the nib here, just I removed it. The nib was garbage. And I've been trying to find a nib that is not too big. I tried to put in a small number 5 Jinhao, but then the cap doesn't close. It just sticks out too much. So I'm still struggling. But given that it's not a pen that I really like, it's not a priority for me. But you could see where the Hongdian M2 sits. It's kind of, the rivals with it's old. Now, this one appears to be a little bit longer, the old M2, but I think it's got more something to do with that lemon nib than anything else. Of course, the beautiful Gravitas got a number 6 size nib, and so does this Lotus. But there you have the pens compared, uncapped and unposted. So there are the pens posted. This doesn't post very well. It just keeps turning. This one has got some posting issues as well, but the rest post very nicely, of course, and you can see where the M2 is situated. Curiously enough, the old M2 appears to be much longer, so there is a difference there, which leads me to want to look at something, and which I think I'm going to make part of my reviews from now on, and that is, let's take a look at inside what there is. Suppose it looks like there is a lining and a step, so it should work. But now that Doodlebud has confirmed to me that the use of this fog machine may not be entirely inappropriate, we're going to test the sealage, how this pen seals, by throwing some fog in there and seeing whether or not anything comes out of that clip design there. Whoa. See that? There does appear to be there does appear to be some air going through that clip design. So whether or not this pen is going to seal properly, we shall see. I'll keep an eye on it. I mean, the pen is beautiful. Again, I don't, that sealing bit, unless you really are a fanatic, I don't consider it to be a deal breaker that would prevent me from using or buying this little gem. This is a gorgeous pen. But because of that design, there is, of course, some openings there. How do we seal it? That's a different issue. And it's something you don't have, of course, with this brass. It's completely brass Kaweco. So with no, the clip is a removable clip, so you can move this up and down. It's not an issue. But there you have the comparison. There you have the seal test. We'll come back with some measurements, and then I'm really looking forward to writing with that pen. Okay, so we're back for the writing sample. First of all, the paper, it's Tomo River 52 grams with, I've inked all these three. I've inked the M2 Green Forest with Hongdian Blackish Green, which I think should be just an absolute match. The M1 with the Peacock Blue, and the brand new M2 Brass with this blue. I also took out my review of the pen of M2 at the time, originally, and it has a steel number 5 lemon nib. I used Tacha Midori ink here. Likes, I said, design built clip. I like the value. And I say here, it's going to be a go-to pen if I replace the nib. So I guess I didn't like the nib too much. Dislike the nib and a very slippery section. That was my review at the time. Let's see what this gives. So let's start with the main attraction, as you will, and we'll do some comparisons in just a few seconds. So this is the Hongdian M2 Brass. I can tell you right now that this nib is just very, very nice. The nib is a medium. I'm going to put here new Hongdian number 5 steel. The ink Hongdian blue. Wow. I can tell you, this morning my hands feel like they're in ice or frozen, I guess, just like the temperature outside. This nib is really, really nice. How springy is it, really? You can see there, it's got a little bit. Yeah, I guess if it is much. Well, I'm not sure that it's that springy, but let's keep in mind it's a small nib, but it otherwise is very smooth. No feedback at all. Very constant line, no skipping. So there you have it. Reverse writing. Yeah, even smooth. One of the smoothest reverse writing, and this would be, I would say, extra fine. So that's worked out really nice, I think. Let me just compare it to the M2 Lemon. I'm just see maybe it was that ink. Just want to see if months later this nib performs differently. This is the Hongdian M2 Green Forest. I don't know if I tuned this nib, but I can't. I'm going to tell you, I don't see what's wrong with it. It's a little dry, but, and this is probably a fine, but for a fine, it's very smooth. So I'm just wondering whether or not in my original review, it may have been that Tatcha Midori green, which is very light and very dry. Not a very wet ink. But is it springy compared to this one? Okay, yeah, I can definitely see it is much softer than that lemon nib is anyway. But let's compare it to the real Hongdian nib, which is in this M1. So this is Hongdian. Oh yeah, this is a nail. I see what they mean. I mean, it's a fine, it's smooth, but it's an absolute nail. There's no give here. Even if I push it. Yeah, definitely a difference between that lemon nib actually has got a little bit of a, is much softer as well compared to this. Yeah. And you can see how, mind you, this is a medium. So good improvement, folks. Good improvement. There you have it. Let's complete this review. Let me just shut that down. Okay. Likes and dislikes. Design is very nice. The build quality is just excellent. The clip, I like the value. Put the price up on the screen in a second. It definitely is a go-to pen. 10 on 10. Can see myself writing with this for a while. And the best part of this pen, when we compare, is this nib. Just 10 on 10 for this number 5 size nib. Gotta tell you, it kind of writes like a little gold nib, you know? Likes, NA, not applicable. 0. There's no dislikes, folks. Just sign this. So there you have it. Another little gem, folks. And again, please, I get a lot of comments saying, now I have to buy another pen. No, you don't. No, you don't. I mean, I only bought this, frankly. I'm not a great user of, I realized, of pocket pens. I just, frankly, don't have the occasion to use them. But I can see somebody who wants to put this in with a little notebook, or just throw this in a bag or in their pockets, want to do some writing in the forest or up north or in a chalet somewhere, and you don't want to bring your expensive pens. I can see that happening. I just don't have use for pocket pens, unfortunately, so it would not have been a priority for me to buy this, although I kept looking at it. But given that everything is quiet, frankly, I needed to provide some content for this channel in terms of Chinese pens. So I said, you know what, why not? It looks like there's some novelty to this M2 Brass pen, but I got to tell you, it's certainly, I mean, look, I don't think it beats this, it doesn't beat this, Gravitas Ultim pen. If I'm going to have to use one, I prefer this one, but I mean, this is hundreds of dollars. I have no illusions. Same thing with Kaweco. I don't know what the Kaweco Brass is going for. It's got a beautiful nib, and it is the original, if you will, that everybody's kind of inspired by it. But, and it's been in my collection for years now. But here again, I hardly use it. And the price, I don't think you can compare this one with that one anyway. Last I checked, this is much more expensive than the M2. So there you have it, folks. I hope you enjoyed that. Have a great week. Keep watching. Enjoy your pens. And if you're stuck in a snowstorm, fountain pen therapy will deal with that. Take care, folks. Bye now.